Alright, you guys, story time while I eat my noodles about the time that one of my friends almost kidnapped me and turned me into their pet. I know it sounds crazy, but just hear me out. Alright, so my friend T and I'm gonna call her T. She lived down the street from me. We were best friends. We used to hang out all the time until she moved away. Love you, bestie. You know who you are. Okay, so me and my friend T, who lived down the street from me at the time, we decided to ride our bikes down to her friend Jay's house. Now, me and Jay were kind of like acquaintances at the time through T. And so I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. Let's go hang out. Let's go have some fun. So we get there, whatever, everything's fine. We're playing one of our favorite games that me and T like to play together called Kim Possible, where basically we would literally just pretend to be Kim Possible characters. Okay, like we would take turns pretending to be Kim and then all the other characters and like, you know, have this little adventure, whatever. So we were doing that, and then all of a sudden we wanted to take a break. We were like, okay, we're getting really tired. Mind you, okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. Back it up. We were home alone at Jay's house. Her mom was like a single mom and she had a job. She had multiple jobs to do. So we were just there by ourselves. So we're getting hungry. And so we stopped playing their game and we go into like, so they have like this little like screened off porch area towards the back of their house. So like if you think about it, like their house is like, this is their front door. You walk in and there's like the little mud room. Then you walk in through the mud room and there's the kitchen. And then behind the kitchen, there's that like little screened off porch area. So while Jay was like rummaging through the kitchen to find us something to eat, T and I went into the like sunroom area and just kind of sat down and waited. And that's when Jay decided to close me and T into the screen room. And mind you, this was like a screen room that apparently like they must have built it themselves or something, because it didn't have a door leading to the outside. And I don't know what this family was on or whatever, but it had like bulletproof windows that did not open either. Who the fuck has a sunroom? Who the fuck? Maybe they did open and we just didn't know, but I was gonna say like, who the fuck has a sunroom with windows that don't open? Maybe they did open and we just couldn't figure it out, but whatever. I digress. We were locked in that sunroom, right? And at first we're like, oh my god, tee hee ha ha, like, you're so funny, Jay, like, what the fuck are you doing? Get us out of here, blah, blah, blah. And she wouldn't, and it was like turning into like this little game or whatever, where she was like our master and we were like her little dogs. And the sunroom was our cage, right? Okay, but then like hours of us being in there, like, and then like getting really hot and then begging for her to open the door and let us out. She was like getting psychotic and like would not let us out. We needed water, we needed food. So the fucking bitch, oh my god. She was like, okay, I'll get you guys some food. So first of all, she passes like one half of a water bottle through like the little bars, not really bars. It's like this little like window from the kitchen to the sunroom. So she like passes us this like half a water bottle. Me and T down that shit because we're dying in there. And then like a couple minutes later, she slides a paper plate in there and it's got like these little bits of chicken on it. And me and T were starving at that point, so we're like, okay, we're gonna eat this tuna. Like this is tuna fish, right? Actually, one tuna fish, bitch. We took a fucking bite of that. And I was like, something's weird. I spit it back out. And I looked at Jay and I was like, what was that? And this bitch goes, that was cat food. I'm sorry, you just gave me cat food to fucking eat. What? So I'm freaking the fuck out at this point. I'm like, let me the fuck out of this room now. Like, we're not even like really friends. Like, you need to let me out of this fucking room right the fuck now. And so she like walks away for a minute. And I'm just like looking at T and I'm like, yo, she's your friend. Like, you need to talk to her and like open this fucking door. So whatever, a couple minutes later, Jay comes back into the room. Or she opens the door and actually comes into the room. And she's like, all right, you guys can come out, but you need to follow me. So we follow her and she leads us like downstairs, which is through the kitchen, downstairs into the basement. And when we get down to the basement, she like brings us through this like creepy little hallway. And then like to the left is a laundry room. And then a little bit further down, there's like this little closet. And like, bro, when I tell you that it reminds me of the Coraline door, it was like one of those little tiny like square doors. So she opens it up. And she's like, all right, now you guys are going to get in here. And I'm like, whoa, wait, pause just for a fucking second. And I was like, why the fuck would I get in there? In my little kid way. I was like, why would I get in there? Why the heck would I get in there? I shit you not. She looked at me and T dead in our eyes and she said, this is where you guys are going to stay now. because I've always wanted my own human pets. I'm fucking sorry. Even as a little kid, that was enough for me. I grabbed T by her arm, like by the cuff of her fucking sleeve, dragged her ass up the stairs, and ripped her out of the fucking house. And we rode our bikes back to her house, where we dwelled on what happened, and then literally never saw Jay again, because apparently she moved to Washington, D.C. So yeah, she literally wanted to keep us as her fucking pet. And I honestly don't even know, like, what was going through her mind at the time, like, what she was thinking, what kind of psychosis she was under. But if she had been, like, a bulky, beefy girl or, like, a boy, I definitely probably would have been shoved into a hole in somebody's basement. But I survived to tell the tale. And Jay, you're fucking weird, bitch.
Snacks in hand, the vibe is set, and once I start, don't eat too much because you gotta stay fine. But come on, bestie, it's story time. I just know new followers that see me on their For You page for the first time be mad confused at that beginning. Barely got lashes in this eye, but I don't care. Y'all gonna love me for me. It's story time. So go get your snack and go get your cola. By the way, you guys are literally like the most amazing followers, supporters ever. You guys are damn near selling out the cola. So now what I need you to do is send me videos of yourself actually trying the cola, and I'm gonna like post them, y'all. Anyway, don't forget to comment what you're gonna eat in the comments, okay? Now, for the sake of the story, let's call this girl Maria. Maria has this very faint memory from when she was younger, and whenever she would ask her parents about it, they don't really want to give her any details, but this is what she remembers. She said maybe some of y'all can help her in the comments. And this happened back home. She's in the US now, but back then she was back home. And she remembers for a little period of time when she was younger, she used to wake up at 3:17 in the morning every night. Like, it didn't miss a beat. It was literally every single night. Now, the only weird thing is, it's not like she would just wake up. But she would wake up but already be sitting up. You know what I mean? It's like her body moved before her mind. So every time she woke up, she was already sitting up, and she would look at the clock and it was 3:17 a.m. Now, this happened for about 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, she said something to her parents about it. Because when she would wake up at 3:17, she would go back to sleep right after 3. Well, not right after 3, but like 4 o'clock. Like after the 3 o'clock hour is done, she would be able to fall back asleep. But anytime she tries in between that time, she can't. So she said something to her parents about it. And at first, her parents didn't really pay too much attention to it. They're thinking maybe it's like insomnia or like nightmares. But then one night, again, it's 3:17. She opens her eyes. She's sitting up on her bed. She looks at the clock, confirms it's 3:17. And at this point, she's kind of used to it. So she's just like sitting there. But she heard something. She heard someone sweeping inside the house. But there can't be anybody sweeping inside the house. Everybody's asleep. So she decides to check. She gets up. She checks her mom's room. She checks her siblings' room. Everybody's asleep. But she still hears the sweeping. And so she decided to follow where she's hearing the sweeping from. And at first she couldn't, because she'll hear it and think she's following it, but hear it somewhere else. But ultimately, she, kept following it and realized that the sweeping was coming from inside the walls. The sound of sweeping, it wasn't coming from the floor, it was coming from the walls. So that happened. The next morning, she goes straight to her mom and tells her mom, I was up again. But this time, I heard sweeping and it was coming from the walls. Now, for some reason, before, mom wasn't really too worried, but for some reason, her telling her that got her worried. So, same day, she took Maria to an older lady that used to live in their village. And she remembers the old lady doing some kind of cleansing for her. And then the old lady started talking to her mom and basically told her mom that someone is calling for your daughter at night. They're calling for your daughter because something was sent for your daughter. And then she turns to Maria and tells Maria, do not respond. Do not listen to anything. Stop getting up from your bed. Stop. Just don't act like you don't hear nothing. Because whatever it is checking to see if you're ready. And so Maria looked at her mom like, what the fuck is this lady talking about? And mom can visibly, you can visibly tell that she's worried. So then the older lady took mom to a more private area so that they can talk. And upon leaving, the older lady gave her some herbs and some stuff, and I guess also gave her directions on what to do, right? That night, They got home. Before she went to sleep, mom sat her down on her bed, pulled out the stuff that the older lady gave her. The first thing she did was pour something in a cup and gave it to Maria to drink. And Maria said after she drank that, she doesn't remember anything. She just remembers waking up the next morning. She ain't wake up at 3:17 that night, and she never did again. But the next thing she remembered after drinking that was waking up the next morning. And not only did she wake up the next morning, she woke up to her mom, not even just her mom, her parents acting weird, like super overprotective. Like, are you okay? Are you feeling this? And they were like this for the next couple months. But whenever she would ask them, like, what happened, like, that night, I don't remember anything. I just remember waking up the next day. And whenever she would ask them, their face could visibly tell that they don't want to talk about what happened that night, as if it's like trauma or something. But they refuse to tell her what happened. Till this day, they're both still alive. She's a grown woman now. They still won't tell her what happened. Anyway, that's the story, y'all. Don't forget to go click the link in my bio and get your ebook cleansed and covered so that you can protect yourself from things like this. Don't believe me? Ask the people that bought it and their lives change. I'm not making this up. I love you, and I will see you next time with the next story time, okay? Okay, love you, bye. Don't forget to comment what you're eating.
And so eventually they put CCTV up around the entire garden. So there's a husband and wife, and they moved from a city to the Yorkshire Dales. And the wife, she's desperate to own some chickens. But the husband, he's not into the idea. She's very persistent, and so eventually she gets her own way. But after about a month of having the chickens, they come down and half the chickens have been eaten by foxes. And so the wife, she starts Googling how she can prevent her chickens from being eaten, and she takes every precaution she could. She was spending hundreds of pounds trying to protect them from these foxes, but no matter what she did, the foxes, they just kept getting in. Eventually they put CCTV up. They also tied bells the whole way around the hutch in the hopes that if anything was to go and disturb the chickens in the middle of the night, it would wake them up. Around 1 week after they've installed all of this stuff, the couple are in bed. It's the middle of the night, and all of a sudden they hear the ringing of the bells from the chicken hutch, and immediately the wife sits up and the husband's like, I'm not coming with you, you can go on your own. And she doesn't care. She runs so fast out of that back door that she leaves everything inside. She's barely got her slippers on. But by the time she gets there, it's too late. Half of her chickens, they're already gone, and she's looking around at this cage and she's trying to work out where on earth this fox could have gotten in. And all of a sudden she feels this almighty sense of dread. She feels as though somebody is standing over her shoulder, watching her and breathing down her neck. But just as her body is freezing in fear, she hears a bang, and she looks towards the house, and the kitchen door has been slammed shut. She runs towards the kitchen door, and as she does, she can see a black shadow figure run up the stairs. And in her mind, she's thinking it's her husband. She's thinking that he's had enough of her leaving the back door open and the cold getting in. He frantically grabs for the kitchen door, and she's wiggling it, trying to get in, but she can't because it's locked. And the lock is from the inside, and she doesn't have her keys. She starts to scream her husband's name, and just as she's about to scream for help, she sees her husband run from the right-hand side from their living room, not the stairs. And he has his hands in the air and he's shouting at his wife, why are you screaming? And he goes to open the back door to let his wife in, but he can't. So he's shouting through the back door, where are your keys? Where are your keys? And she says, I don't have them. And he's like, what do you mean you don't have them? He goes and he finds his own keys and he lets his wife in. And at this point, the husband's fuming because she's woken up all of their kids. She's probably woken up the neighbours. The husband, he's like, what do you mean you don't have the keys? There's no way this door has just locked itself. Obviously taking your keys out, and when you've gotten spooked and you've run, you've dropped them somewhere in the garden. But she knows she didn't take her keys out there. She ran so fast out that door, she barely had her slippers on. There was no way she had time to lock the door. Plus, she's never done that before. She would always just leave the back door open. She tells her husband, I saw you run in and I saw you run up the stairs. And he says, no, I never went upstairs. I came downstairs when you did, and I've been watching you out of the window the entire time. And she says, did you not hear the loud bang of the door? And he says, yeah, I just assumed it was you. She is so convinced that she saw somebody run into their house and up the stairs that she refuses to sleep in their house that night. She takes all of the kids and she drives them all the way to her parents' house so that they can stay there. She just refuses to bring the kids back until they've had all of the locks changed and somebody has done a proper search of the upstairs of their house. At some point, after all the excitement had died down, the husband decides he's going to have a look at the CCTV to see if they can actually work out what happened to these keys and what happened to the back door and how did the back door suddenly manage to lock itself from the inside. But he doesn't get any answers because the camera's cut out. But before the camera stopped working, it did catch something. So that night, around 3 a.m, something entered the hutch itself. And whatever this thing was, it picks the chicken up into midair, turns it on its side, and all you can see is fluff and feathers. And then it holds it there for quite some time. And then the camera's cut out. And the thing that makes this story even creepier is the fact that this story was not on Reddit, it wasn't on Creepypasta. This story was actually posted into a Facebook group for people who owned chickens in the Yorkshire Dale area, to advise them, particularly in this one area, this one street, to advise them not to own chickens, because it is well known that since the 1930s, when you own chickens, it brings this shadow figure to your house. And whenever people would own chickens, this shadow figure would come and then people's pets would start to go missing. So it was actually like a plea from somebody who lived locally to ask anybody who was moving to the area not to own chickens. I'll be taking chickens off my Christmas list. I know that much.
Should we show them the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
It went to both.
Yeah.
So I just found out that I've been living in someone else's backup plan. Okay, so boom. I'm moving to this apartment like 6 months ago. Everything normal. What I thought. So my neighbor is this old woman. She's not rude, but she's always quiet. And she's always watching. Like, she knew my schedule better than I did. I brushed it off, but moving fast forward to last week. My Wi-Fi unusually connects to a fucking unit, to a Wi-Fi, and it said, Unit 3B do not use. Here's the catch. I live in 3B. But y'all, I brushed it off. Like, I just brushed it off. I just thought I was going delusional. 2 days later, I get a package at the door. No name, but what it did have was my apartment number. I was so confused, y'all. So in the package, it's a USB drive, and written on the USB drive, it says, in case you forgot again. Like, it's wrote in black Sharpie. Y'all, at this point, I'm scared, but I'm curious to what is on this USB drive. Y'all, it's videos of me. And like, not no weird videos. Like, it's videos of me laughing, cooking, singing, like, folding clothes. But y'all, it was filled from angles that I don't recognize. Like, now at this point, y'all, I feel delusional. Then there's a folder and it says reset. Like, it was labeled reset. Y'all, inside of the single video, it was my fucking neighbor, y'all. My fucking neighbor. Y'all, this woman looked directly in the fucking camera. She looks directly in the fucking camera and says, "Hi, nice to see you again. If you get this, that means you probably moved in. You feel safe here and I don't know why." What? Then, like, she says my full government name, y'all, like, middle, last, like, first name, like, whole name. Then at the end of the video, she like, "Next time, don't open the door after midnight." What? Y'all, that night, somebody literally knocked on the door at 12:03 in the morning. Mind y'all, I live in Cleveland. I just moved here. I don't know nobody. I didn't answer. But the next morning, the apartment was empty. Like, yo, when I say it was empty, gone. Nobody there, nothing there. Like, it was almost as if the unit never existed. Y'all, the leasing office said,
Part 2 of my terrifying cabin experience in the middle of Big Sur, California, in the woods. Back to it to set the scene of it went from paranormal activity in the cabin to Intruders, Strangers 2. The movie where they break into the cabin, yeah, that's what I was living in, daylight. Anyways, I'm in the shower sudsing my body. It sounds like my front door just opened. I'm hearing footsteps and I'm hearing stuff be rummaged through. Now, there's a lot going through my head at this point. Number one, because I'm so fucking mental. I'm like, okay, I don't even feel comfortable with dashing out of the cabin because I'm in the shower and I'm naked and my body has not been tea-lately. It's winter, I haven't been going to the gym. So that's the first thing going through my head, which I think is a problem in itself. But I'm like, I'm naked. I can't even fucking get out of here. I'm stuck. Second of all, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just took all my nice perfumes out. They're probably stealing the perfume. Number 3, I'm like, oh, what if they get me next? Like, what if it's not even worth the perfume? Like, what if they just, you know, attack me? Anyways, I'm texting my friend. I'm blowing up her phone. I'm like, girl, like, please, please, please. She's not answering me at first, like, at all. So I start texting her girlfriend. And I'm like, hello, like, hello. Like, please tell me you're with my friend. Like, please. Girlfriend texts me back and she's like, hey, like, what's up? And at the same time, my best friend texts me back and she was like, what's going on? I start calling her profusely. She's not fucking answering. She's like, I'm at the front desk. Like, I'm working, babe. Like, I'm getting my money up, not your literal funny up. Like, you're playing games. What do you want? I'm like, someone's in my fucking cabin. Like, I don't know what to do. She's like, I promise you, no one's in your cabin. Like, it's not even checkout time. Like, housekeeping's not even in there. Because checkout time's 11. This was like 10:30, 10:45. And I was like, right. So it's an intruder. Like, they're not cleaning.
Okay, so I literally tried to record this twice and my audio keeps messing up, but I'm not home alone, but I am alone and I'm in somewhat comfy clothes. I'm in my car with nothing to do because I'm waiting for my girlfriend to get off work, and I want to tell you another scary story from my past. I gotta set the scene. I was 8 years old and it was my first night spending the night at my childhood best friend's house. We'll call her Jackie. Jackie and I got along really well when we started playing softball together, and our moms noticed that they both had a gaggle of children, and four of them seemed to get along really well. My younger brother and her younger brother also played t-ball together. So they were like, let's just exchange kids every now and then. They'll just stay at your house for a weekend, my house for a weekend. It'll be a good time. So I had 4 kids in my family, and she had 5 kids in her family. On this night, me and 2 of my siblings, my brothers, both spent the night at her house. And her mom was real efficient about it. It was a trial run, so she decided to just make a pallet on the floor in the Florida room. And you know me, I drew a picture. So if you're looking at the Florida room from above, right, there's like 2 French doors that lead into the kitchen area. Her parents' room is like over here. And you come in through these French doors because these were blocked by a dresser. And there's like a hockey table, and then you go around, there's a bathroom. There were 2 couches in an L shape, and then like an entertainment center with some lamps and a dresser. And then the pallet in the floor like had all the kids on it. So that's me. I did a little black dot so you can see me pretty easy. I was like in the smack dab in the middle. I think I drew too many kids, but whatever. And then Jackie's to one side of me, and her little sister, we'll call her Nat, is on the other side. My brother was over here. My other brother was over there. And if you've watched my videos, you know I have trouble sleeping at night. I just like cannot stay asleep. I don't know why. I have an issue. Hard to fall asleep, hard to stay asleep. I'm used to it. So I woke up at what I would imagine is like 4:15 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep. And I'm like trying to adjust, trying to fall back asleep. And I'm hearing scratching noises coming from a portion of the wall that's like directly below my feet. So I'm laying here, right? And here's this wall. Right about here, something is scratching the wall very deliberately. Like, and it was long scratches. And it started like 2 feet off the ground, and then it would end like right around where the baseboard was, so about 4 inches off the ground. And it sounded like this. It was like very rhythmic. It was like...
What the fuck was that? Bro!
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
Hi guys, while I wait here, I wanted to do a little story time, and I'm going to name it story time. And question to you guys: have you guys ever dealt with sleep paralysis? If you have dealt with sleep paralysis or know what that is, keep watching. If you haven't and you have no idea what that is, I mean, if you want to keep watching as well. But I'm kind of in limbo with what I felt, what I saw from what I was dealing with this week. I had 2 days of sleep paralysis, and if you look up sleep paralysis, it does mention hallucinations. It does mention feeling the feeling of fear which was a big one for me because I was really, really traumatized from the first one I had. I had them back to back. I think it was on Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. And oh my God, if you've never felt it, I mean, good for you, because it is the worst feeling ever. I mean, having to feel like something gets on top of you and you are controlled by it. You can't move your arms. You can't move. You're trying to open your eyes. I was trying to open up my eyes to see what the heck it was, because I'm thinking like it's something, spiritual, something like that, because I feel like I am very sensitive to that stuff already, or I have seen a few things, but the first experience I had this week, and I've had it many years ago. I've had 1 or 2 sleep paralysis before, but this week they were back to back, and it was really, really traumatizing for me. The first one was on Tuesday, and I have been dealing with a lot of stuff at home with my daughter, and just surgeries that we've had these months. So a lot of stress. I believe I guess I'll give it to stress, And my husband left to work. I was in bed, and normally he's the type that likes to cuddle with me right before going to work, and just give me hugs and stuff. And I remember him getting up and leaving, telling me bye babe, whatever, and he gave me a kiss. And as soon, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes after, I feel that sensation of someone getting on top of me. And I was laying on my right side. So usually in my past, I wouldn't have that problem where I'm sleeping to my side. It would only come to me when I'm laying face up. But this time I was on my right side, and I felt the sensation of just someone being on top of me. This is how I describe it. Someone being on top of me, someone taking my energy, someone immobilizing me where I couldn't move my body. You're inside, you're screaming, and you're like trying to get out of it, and you just can't, and you're just stuck in that paralyzed frame. And I'm trying to open my eyes to see what the heck it is, because I'm thinking it's something spiritual, And as that's happening, you just feel all your nerves and all your body just taking over. And I remember I got up, got my phone, checked my phone, and it was about 6:20. My husband leaves like right before 6. So I knew it was between that time. I go to the restroom, and I'm calling him because I am traumatized. I'm crying. Like, I'm traumatized from the feeling I got this time. And this time was very, 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 very strong for me. And I'm sitting on the toilet, TMI, calling my husband that I'm traumatized because I had to go to the restroom as well. And as I'm sitting there, I see my bag. I always kind of like, change my bags and stuff. I have a bag under my TV, and all of a sudden I just see it fall. And I panic because I'm already kind of traumatized from waking up, feeling all those weird sensations I was feeling, not knowing what the heck just happened, and I see that bag fall, like if someone pushed it under my TV, and I panic, and my husband's on the phone with me, and I'm screaming, like I'm traumatized because I was already like so like shaken up, that I just didn't know like how to react to that, because I was scared. I was really, really scared, and it's very difficult for me to be that scared. So I think it was like a weird feeling I was feeling, and thank God, I don't know how my daughter, the way my house works, you have to go all the way around to come to my bedroom. I don't know how my little one, she just was there at the door, opening the door. She's like, Mom, are you okay? Did you have a bad dream? And I did tell her it was a dream. I didn't want to tell her fully what it was. But this whole time, she's holding me, and I'm like a little baby. Like if she's my mommy, and I'm holding her, and she's like, Mommy, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And I'm just like, oh my God, thank God for her. She was able to calm me down, because I was really, really, I was going through it. And I was just like, what the heck is this, Tell my husband, I'm like, this bag just fell. Like, this is not normal. This is a bag that was sitting there the whole week without touching. Like, it was not like where you can kind of like, it could just fall by itself. It's like something pushed it, So mind you, this happens, the whole day I was very, very like nervous. I was like very nervous to be in my home. I was really scared to be in the room. It was just an ugly feeling, like not a normal feeling that I would get, and I was like, something's up, something's wrong, something is like in my home. That's what I felt. So that whole day I was like that. I talked to my BFF, and I told her about it. I'm like, I always feel better when I talk about it. And she's my BFF is one that I'm always like, the first one to call, and I tell her all the cheese man what I'm going through. So then my husband's like, "Are you okay?" You know, he would check on me throughout the whole day. But throughout the whole day, I still felt that fear, you know. So then, come night, I didn't want to go to sleep because I was freaking terrified. I'm like, it's gonna happen again. Bad thing is that it did happen again around the same time. My husband leaves me, and 15 minutes after he left me, he gave me the kiss. I that same sensation, not as strong as the first time though. The same sensation, that feeling of someone being on top of you and you can't control what it is. And I break out. This time I actually try to break out of it even more. That I was able to kind of break out of it sooner, I guess. I don't know. Time just goes super slow when you're feeling that. And you feel like you're in that position forever. And if you've had sleep paralysis, you know what I'm saying. And this is the technical term, I guess they're saying, right? It's sleep paralysis. I mean, I don't know. I think it's something a little bit different, to be honest. But that whole feeling, that scared feeling, it is not nice. It's like a horrible feeling. So then Wednesday, wake up, the same thing happened. I felt that same thing. I get my phone, look at the time, and why does it happen around the same time? It was 6:18 that time. And I was like, my husband had just left, you know? And I call my husband. I tell him, dude, it happened again. What is going on? This is like tripping me out. I am very, very nervous. And I just don't know what to do. I mean, I am going to go to church, and I'm going to get some holy water, and I'm going to bless my home, because we do have a lot of people that are, you know, we love to have people over. We love to host. And again, I'm a big believer in that. Some people just have some bad vibes, and I don't know, maybe something like that happened. I don't know, but I am kind of traumatized, guys. If you've ever had that feeling of sleep paralysis or anything like that, if you've had any experiences, please let me know. And what else I can do besides bless my home. I mean, that would be like my first thing, because I am a believer in God, and God is big, you know, and I put him before me, of course. But let me know if you guys have ever experienced that. What are your thoughts? What do you think? And how was your experience? How did you get out of it? And again, every day I go to sleep thinking it's going to happen, and I get so nervous and I just can't sleep. And these days I've been like that. I haven't been able to sleep. I wake up at random times, tossing and turning, just because I'm thinking in my head it's going to happen, and I'm so nervous for it to happen. But yeah, let me know if you guys have had any experiences like that. I'm just very curious to know, and I want to hear your thoughts.